three countries that dominate. I'm saying here, there's many other countries that obviously developing their local solar market. One of them being Nigeria, right? That you definitely would want to pay attention to. And then, and among those three, there's one with be the champion, the local champion, the superpower for renewable energy in the continent, and it's South Africa. Yeah, that's I must say. And that's why when I started in the previous slide, I started by 2014. I told you about the RIM program, the renewable energy, the renewable energy IPP program. So that they launched, and with that program coming up so far, since 2014 they start delivering projects. They've been able to provide to build 7 gigawatts of projects that they've added, so which is great. So when you combine utility, rooftop, and also solar CSB, so South Africa is really dominating both for solar, but also wind. Just for you to know. But for a little history, for example, in wind energy, this is not where the industry started. I actually wrote a book on wind energy. Actually, the first book about wind industry in Africa. So I think that's a moment of pride that I was the one doing it. So for history, the wind energy, for example, even so started initially in North Africa. It was definitely Morocco, Egypt, but also Tunisia. But what happened is, what stopped the progress at the time is something that you may still remember, was the Arab Spring. After the Arab Spring slowed down the project, because obviously the region was going through less substantial changes, and that obviously has an impact into the industry. And fortunately for the continent, that was the time the RIM program in South Africa started, and that's how South Africa actually jumped ahead. And obviously since then they've maintained the lead. Just to little bit of let's say history there, just to let you know. So we can that's what we have for the country of interest. So hopefully some of you investors would be happy to see those markets now. And just going back to a couple of just a case study, because I know that people always also ask, well, okay, Tony, so what is that you do in particular? How do you help the companies? We've got such and such company. How could you support? So there's multiple ways, but let me talk about one way, and especially one company we've worked with, which is called Utility. It's a brilliant company in South Africa, and they're providing solar services, solar storage services for the residential, but also SME market in South Africa. So they approached me. That was what, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. So something like that, probably like, yeah. And obviously they were launching their company. They were raising funds as well. So we contributed to supporting them and being investor ready, put it that way. But we also support them a lot with our awareness program. Because our awareness program, if you maybe remember, I said that there's 3 things we would deliver to people. It's visibility, leads, and deals. And bear in mind, when it says visibility, leads, and deals, it's not just for your end customer. We say visibility, leads, and deals for whoever is your target audience. If you're raising funds, for example, like I said, you want to attract investors, isn't it? You want to make sure that those investors know you, know that you're around. So our visibility program, whether you talk about your end customer, whether you talk about a partner, whether you talk about investor, it is the same. You have something to offer. You want to make sure that the person you want to offer it to knows that you are around, knows that you exist. Once that person knows that you exist, obviously that person will now want to reach out to you, and you can get conversation. So we work with them. So we deliver a number of webinars, especially special webinars where we actually attracted some investors to come and listen to them, and a little bit of a private pitch sessions, as well as programs just to get them to go out there and be visible, and working internally with them to make sure that they can refine as well their offer, their business model, and to attract partners and investors. And then I believe someday that we've helped them into the journey, because after that they were able to enter a couple of accelerators, and long story short, obviously to attract investment. And they recently attracted close to 27 millions in partnership with a company called Jar Tech. Some of them will know them. And to this day, so they've provided power to more than 1 million homes in South Africa, homes and businesses in South Africa, adding 16 gigawatts and obviously avoiding 250 tons of CO2. So we definitely, well, we're super, super proud of them. So like I say, so bunch of free founders, lots of drive. It was very tough, but obviously they kept going, and we're very proud of what they have achieved. But we believe that there are multiple other businesses like that that could obviously get the same kind of success. And that's how we at Renewables in Africa can support those three main things: visibility, leads, and deals. Just to make sure that whoever's your target audience, you can make sure that they know about you. Yeah, then once they know about you, you can attract them and obviously close deal with them. So that's what we are about. So can we go to the next slide, TJ? So I've seen some comments here. I don't know if there's a questions.
Yeah, there's a few, but you know what?
Yeah.
Let's maybe just go through some now, and then
Okay.
we can do it now. So Ian asked about the name of the a project that aims to increase renewable capacity in Africa. So I believe that was the Mission 300.
Yes, I think I can see Joseph responded.
Okay,
Yes.
appreciate that, Joseph, too. And then also it was just to get overview of the projects in Kenya and Ethiopia and how they're doing in terms of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal.
Yeah. So I can respond to that before I continue the slides. So yes, I mentioned about the free country that dominates, but as I said, so there are multiple other markets, especially nowadays, that are growing. And I would say behind the Kenya, sorry, the South Africa, Morocco, and Egypt, the next two that really coming up in terms of market, you want Nigeria and Kenya, that's for sure. So that's actually your top five that you're saying. So for Africa's again, I don't want it to sound negative the way I would say that. I would say uh in Africa context, those are the three winners, put it that way. But in global context, it's still very small. That's why there's still a lot of room for improvement. That's what I wanted to say, right? So like I say, the whole Africa, the whole solar capacity in Africa represent barely 2% of the global share. So that's why for me, it is so much that we still need to do. But these are the other two markets that you see. So they're doing extremely well. And for geothermal, Kenya is the main country for geothermal. Kenya has, if I'm correct, they definitely have something like a 2 to 3 gigawatts of geothermal power plant they have built, because it's around that region called the Rift Valley. So you have countries like Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia as well. And Ethiopia as well are looking to, let's say, exploit a lot more like geothermal resources. It's just like many those countries in the vicinity. So that's what the ambition to do. But Kenya is the one that's actually gone plowed ahead in terms of that. So and hydro, yes, there's a lot of uh, hydro power plant in that region. You probably know, or if you don't know, that Ethiopia has opened up as inaugurated. So that was actually 2 weeks ago. The largest hydro power plant in Africa. So it's a Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It's called GERD. So if you want to know a lot more about that, so I'll make sure that I'll drop the link of my YouTube. So we have a couple of videos on that. So I may actually drop them here. So if I find it, or if I can't, I'll share with TJ. TJ will pass it on to you. You can get some more information about it. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, so I say, Tony, just because we are time constrained, let's If you
Carry
could
on.
just go through your next two slides, then at
Good.
the end we'll try and solve.
Good. Yeah. So anyway, we have just few slides left. So I carry on here with talking about what do we see as opportunities, barriers, potential solutions. That's just some of them, right? Because you can expand it even more this slide. But getting into the opportunity, we all agree that the continent is so blessed with resources that we have, right? So we have abundant sunshine. That's what I was saying. Everywhere in the continent you go in, you should be able to build a solar industry. If it's just based on the resource on its own, yes, there is enough resource. That's no question about that. You have strong winds, especially in North Africa, but also East Africa and Southern Africa. So and geothermal resources. So the little caveat I want to say in here is that those resources is also as per current technology. What I'm saying, for example, for wind energy, what we consider, let's say, sufficient resource is anything that is higher than 5 meters per second in terms of the speed of the winds. That's because you need you need that to start to power the blades of the turbines. Yeah, that's but now they know that people are designing turbines that are built differently and able to exploit as well on an industrial scale. So able to work in area where the wind is slower than that. That's what I'm saying as well. When I talk about the resources, this as per the current capabilities of the technologies. So yeah. So other opportunity, you know that the demographics, right? That's in Africa. So at the moment, the continent population, it's 1.4, between 1.4, 1.5 billion. Yes, already on its own, yeah. But it's even about to go even a lot better than that. So by 2050, pretty much all the projection saying that the population it's about to potentially double, definitely reach 2.5 billion 2050. That means within the next 25 years, we're going to add 1 more billion people in Africa. And if you compare that with all the other regions in the world, nobody will do something as close. The only country that would add close to that, it's actually India. But even India, within the next 25 years, from what I've seen, they add barely 200 million. Barely is a lot already, but I'm saying that. So there's glad to say a lot of Africans. That's what we're saying. We need to make sure that we deal with the needs of that population, especially the young population, because that's the thing. 65%, more than 60% of them are obviously less than 20 years old, right? So that's why it matters. So until those guys have what they need, nobody else would be living in peace. Because guess what? If they can't find what they need to live a peaceful life, in their locality, they come to you. That's for sure. No matter whatever barriers you put in place, I know immigration is a big topic. That's what I'm saying. If you don't tell them, give those people what they need, they'll come to you. They come and find you. You can put whatever rules and regulations you want. That's the thing. So in terms of the barrier that we see to develop the sector even more, you have infrastructure. There's still a lot of infrastructure gap that we see. So that needs to be built, and limited grids. That's a big problem actually. They restrict a lot. I know, for example, there was this program in Kenya. It's that's the biggest wind power plant, and I forgot the name in my mind, but it's a 310 megawatt power plant, and it took them about 3 years to bring them to the grid, just because obviously the grid was not strong enough to receive it, so they had to upgrade it. Yeah, so that's what they did. So, and obviously, as we know, the high upfront costs and weak regulation, that's another big issue. The high upfront costs, that's why obviously we struggle to see a lot of investment coming into the sector, because pretty much all the local developers in the continent, they don't have enough money to build those big projects. So they need support from investors, most of them coming from outside.